and thank you for coming. Today's author series is sponsored by the White Fund. We'd like to thank the White Fund's trustees for their generosity in sponsoring today's event. We want to thank Irish Heritage Month events. We want to know that Irish Heritage events are partially funded by the Lawrence Cultural Council. We'd like to thank them for their support. Sincere thanks to the Lawrence Heritage State Park, Public Charity Center, the Reverend James Giovanni USA, and his contributions to Lawrence and beyond, and to Lawrence Community Access Television for videotaping today's lecture as well. We're hopeful that you will attend many of the upcoming events during Irish Heritage Month as we celebrate a great city and Irish culture at its best. It's now my pleasure to introduce Anita Kelly-Kyrie of the White Fund, who will introduce our speaker. Anita.
Good afternoon. My name is Anita Kiley, and I'm a trustee of the White Fund. I'm also the collections manager and research coordinator at the Lawrence History Center on 6 Essex Street in the former Essex Company headquarters. The White Fund is a charitable trust established in 1852 by the Honorable Daniel Appleton White to benefit the citizens of Lawrence, Mass. One aspect of the White Fund is to host a series of lectures that enlighten the mind and elevate the character. Judge White's chief concern was for the advancement and success in the life of the young men and women of Lawrence. Over the years at these lectures, Laurentians listened to the likes of Ralph Waldo Emerson, Oliver Wendell Holmes, and Robert Frost. More recently, Denise Frohman, Martin Espada, and Juno Diaz shared their poetic works with us. National Book Award winner Elizabeth Acevedo and the internationally acclaimed Julia Alvarez spoke to our young people as well. The White Fund trustees guard this tradition proudly. We are happy to partner with the Reverend James T. O'Reilly, OSA Division 8, Ancient Order of Hibernians, to bring you the next in a long line of distinguished speakers, Rich Padova. I have had the pleasure of knowing and working with Rich for many years, and I'm pleased to introduce him today. Rich was born, raised, and educated in Lawrence, and also has resided in Methuen, Mass, and Carver, New Hampshire, and for the last 15 years in Andover. A former social studies teacher and guidance counselor, Rich has taught at the college level since 1997 and is currently a history professor at Merrimack College and also teaches English composition and writing at North Shore Community College. He has authored 4 publications on history, government, and politics, with the 5th one coming out this spring titled FDR to Trump 2, The First 100 Days. During the summer, Rich is the historical tour interpreter here at Lawrence Heritage State Park, where he provides guided tours of the museum downstairs, guided thematic walking tours of the historic Mill District here in the downtown, and narrated boat tours of the Merrimack River. He is looking forward to starting his 21st summer here, coming up in May. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you very much, Anita, and to Bill Sullivan, and thank you to the Reverend James T. O'Reilly, Division 8, Ancient Order of Hibernians, for inviting me here today to speak. This week starts my spring break at Merrimack this week, and so I'm happy to start my spring break week by addressing all of you here today. So thank you all for coming. Those who I know and I don't know, hope to get to know all of you. And don't be strangers now, right? Okay, my 21st summer season begins here on May 20th. Okay, and so I'd like all of you to come back. Take advantage of the programming that we do here during the summertime. Take the museum tour, as Anita was saying, any of my walking tours, my boat tours on the Merrimack River. So again, don't be strangers, and hopefully we'll see you all again this summer for the various programs that we offer here at Lawrence Heritage. So those of you who have been to with the quiz, it's an opportunity to make this interactive, and people usually enjoy it that way, okay? So I'll pass out the quizzes, take 5-10 minutes to do that. I have pencils up here if you need a writing instrument, and then we will go over the correct answers together, and that will form the basis of the presentation here today. All right, so. All right, it looks like most of you are done. If not, you can just keep filling it in as we go along, okay? And just a couple of things that I forgot originally to mention before we get started. So, when Bill was asking me to come up with a topic for today, and I'm sure a lot of people already know about the history of Ireland in one way or another. So I was thinking, all right, well, how about, why don't we do the geography of Ireland, okay? That might be something that less people are familiar with. And geography does have a special place in my heart. So I'll have this up here, but when I was in the Lawrence Public Schools, I grew up on Prospect Hill, and I went to the Star on the Rollins. So when I was in the 5th grade, I was voted best boy in geography, okay? And here's my little paper ribbon from Miss Anna Sullivan, who I had in the 5th grade at the Rollins School, attesting to the fact that I was the best boy in geography, okay? And back then, it was kind of different than today, all right? So back then, I could name all the 50 states along with their capitals, all right? And that's, in large part, what earned me this honor, okay? Nowadays, when we study geography, of course, there's a lot more to it than memorizing states and capitals, okay? But I dug this out for today, just to show you, okay, how far back my interest in geography goes, so. And then it actually ended up becoming my major for my bachelor's degree at Salem State, and then became a social studies teacher. So, and then one other thing too on the collage up front here, you may have seen it already. So my wife Lori and I have been to Ireland twice, and then once to Northern Ireland. So we have some photos that Lori took between our 2 trips to Ireland. So a couple of note. In the upper left-hand corner, when you see me flat on my back there, now those of you who've been there, you probably know where we were and what we were doing, right? Okay. So we were at Blarney Castle, and Lori and I, and there's my photo there, right? So we each took turns attempting to kiss the Blarney Stone, right? Which you're supposed to do, and then that's supposed to give you the gift of gab, I believe, right? Okay. So now again, those of you who've been there, you know the procedure, the routine, right? You have to go flat on your back. There's this curmudgeon-y old guy, at least when we were there. I think it was his retirement job, and he helps slide you into position, okay? And then when you see the Blarney Stone, to be honest with you, Lori and I thought it was kind of disgusting because there's all kinds of lipstick on it and all kinds of woozy things, you know, and it's kind of a turnoff, you know. And Lori and I are like, oh my God, we're expected to kiss this thing, you know? What kind of diseases are we going to get, you know? So what we did instead is we just like blew a kiss like that, okay? And we figured that's good enough, and if we don't get the gift of gab, it's okay, it's not a major concern anyway, okay? So in the photo of me there, that Lori took it, and it's the curmudgeon old guy pulling me away from the, from the Blarney Stone there, okay? And then to get back up into position. And then there's a photo of Lori when we took a tour of the Dingle Peninsula, right, Lori? Yeah. So there's a photo of her with a dramatic backdrop there of the Dingle Peninsula. But anyway, if you haven't seen them already, you're welcome to take a look at them. Okay, so getting down to the basics here now, okay? And this will be self-correcting, okay? So I will not collect these, even though I'm an educator, and that's my first temptation, right? To collect them and grade them. But you'll be happy to know, we'll just do self-grading today, and nobody's obliged to report their score unless you really do well and you want to share your wonderful score with the rest of us, okay? So, all right, so I gave you the synopsis there to kind of whet your appetite, give you a little background information about the geography of Ireland. Some of this, some of you may know already, others maybe not, that's fine either way. So, and then the note for clarity there, because sometimes people are like, okay, Ireland versus the Republic of Ireland, what's the difference, right? Okay, so just to make sure everybody understands that part of it, I tried to clarify that there for anybody who might not be sure what the distinction is, okay? All right, so number one. In the Republic of Ireland, what is the word for lake? Would anybody like to volunteer their answer? And see, this is what makes it interactive now. Okay, yes? C, right, C, correct, yes. Okay, so letter C, all right, is the correct answer there. Now, L-O-U-G-H, okay, loch, comes from the Irish Gaelic loch, L-O-C-K, or lake, okay? So the largest lake in Ireland is Loch Nea, N-E-A-G-H, okay? That's the largest lake in Ireland itself. And its surface area is 151 square miles, all right? That's huge. When you consider that the square mileage of Lawrence, where we are here today, of course, is just a bit under 7 square miles, okay? So here we have this lake, Nea, right, that's 151 square miles, okay? So just for comparison's sake, right, to give you an idea how big it is, okay? So with Loch Nea, it's also, so besides being the largest lake in Ireland, it's also the largest lake in the whole of the United Kingdom, and in the British Isles, for that matter, as well, okay? So it's one huge lake at the end of the day, okay? So, all right, we all set with number one? Okay, number two. What is the highest mountain in the Republic of Ireland? Anybody want to volunteer their answer? A, right, A, all right. Carrauntoohil, I believe, right, Carrauntoohil, all right, is the highest mountain in the Republic of Ireland. Now, it's 3,414 feet tall, okay? 3,414 feet tall. So it's quite large, quite tall, and it's located in County Kerry's Iveragh Peninsula, okay? That's the exact location of it. And it's part of the tallest mountain range in Ireland, which are known as the McGillicuddy's Reeks, okay? That's the tallest mountain range in Ireland. And Carrauntoohil is one mountain in that entire range, right? So a mountain is like one part of an entire range of mountains, okay? So that's the case with Carrauntoohil, all right? So, okay, we all set with number two. Okay. So let's go to number three. All right, yeah. So, Dublin, right? Some of us have been there, we know it well. If not, you should go there. I highly recommend it. I'll have to tell you, I love turkey dinners, okay? A lot of people love turkey dinners, all the fixings and best turkey dinner I have ever had was in Dublin. Okay? Anywhere in the world I've been, the best turkey dinner I've ever had was in Dublin. And Laura, you remember the name of the restaurant? The Eagle. Okay, if any of you go to Dublin and you go to this restaurant called the Eagle, oh, have the turkey dinner there. It's sumptuous. It's out of this world. Okay, that's my recommendation. Okay, so, all right. Now, Dublin, the capital city, contains more than 25% of the country's population in and around it. When did the first settlement in Dublin occur? All right, would anybody like to volunteer their answer?
Third century.
Yes, the third, oh, sorry, not third century. Seventh, yeah, seventh, okay. So letter C, the 7th century. Okay, very old city, as you can see. So, by the time Ireland had been invaded in the 12th century by the Anglo-Normans, Dublin had become the largest settlement in the country, okay? So by the time of the Anglo-Norman invasion in the 12th century or the 1100s, Dublin by then had become the largest city. All right, so. Okay, number 4. Which of the following bodies of water surround the Republic of Ireland? Would anybody like to volunteer their answer? Okay, certainly the Atlantic. And all of the above, actually. Right, all of the above. Okay. So, to the west, okay, we have the Atlantic. To the east, we have the Irish Sea, okay, and to the south, we have the Celtic Sea, all right? So all of the above. Now, what's to the north, you might ask, okay? Well, to the north, we have Northern Ireland, okay? And then to the north of that, we have, of course, the North Sea, okay? All right, but in between the Republic of Ireland, okay, and the North Sea, we have something in the way there, and it's called Northern Ireland, okay? So the Atlantic, the Celtic, and the Irish are the ones that immediately surround the Republic of Ireland, okay? So, all right, are we all set with that one? Okay. All right, number 5. According, well, let me read the question first. Yeah. The River Shannon is the Republic of Ireland's longest river at 224 miles. Just for comparison's sake, those of you who've taken my tours here in Lawrence Heritage, you should know this, but the Merrimack River, just for comparison's sake, right? The Merrimack River is 117 miles long, right? From Franklin, New Hampshire to Salisbury, Mass, okay? So we have the Shannon now, which is pretty much double the length of the Merrimack, all right? So it's pretty long, all right? So now, some claim that the Shannon is also home to a monster that was first sighted in 1922. All right, move over Nessie. Right, there's more than just Nessie apparently lurking out there. Right. Okay. Now, what is the name given to this supposed monster? Right, that's lurking in the River Shannon? Anybody want to volunteer their answer? No. Nice try, though, Bill. Yeah. No, it's not Sally either. No. Right? So by the process of elimination, right, everybody all at once, it's Canada. Okay. Right, okay. So, all right. Choice B is the correct answer, Canada. All right. That's the name of this supposed monster in the River Shannon. All right. Now, according to newspapers at the time, a man named Captain Shaw, okay, cited it in 1922, and he described it as having a long neck. Oh, just like Nessie, right? The pictures we've seen of Nessie, okay, it shows it having a long neck, all right? So now we supposedly have this other long-necked monster, right, lurking in the River Shannon, all right? And according to Captain Shaw here, all right, who documented this, besides having a long neck, he said that it also survived on a diet, the food you consume every day to survive, a diet of whales. All right, so whales were keeping this river monster alive, all right, by feeding on these whales, and it kept him going, he or she, okay, this all right. So that's the legend about the River Shannon, okay. Well, see, that's the Sharon, exactly. All right, okay, just a minor detail, right? But that's what makes this a legend, right? Okay, because with a legend, you have to keep an open mind, right? Lots of questions, right?
Has he ever been seen since 1922?
Not to my knowledge, no. So I don't think it's been seen since 1922, which kind of tells you a lot as well, right? Okay. The whales ate it, right? The revenge of the whales, right? Okay. Yeah.
Don't mind if something doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right. My wife, who's part Irish, reminded me that the Irish don't care if something doesn't make sense. Right? It makes the story all the more interesting, right? Right? The more interesting, the better that way, right? Okay. So, okay.
Tullamore involved with the story.
What's that?
I think there's some Tullamore involved.
Oh, yes, perhaps, yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Tom.
Also, not to graduate from the geography thing, but from 1918 to about 1942, there were sea monsters seen all over the place.
Yeah.
Well documented up the East Coast too, so.
Yeah.
I mean, and in lakes around here, so I think it was just a thing going on.
That been going on at the time. Oh, I saw a sea monster here, there, and everywhere. Right? You know, so, yeah, they certainly make for a good story, right? You know? And then the whales ate them all, right? The revenge of the whales, right? You know, so, okay. All right. So, number 6. All right. How many counties make up the Republic of Ireland? Okay, would anybody like to volunteer their answer? 26. Yes, Bill knows his Irish counties. Right, 26 counties make up the Republic of Ireland. Okay. Now, I'll briefly elaborate on that. Okay. The 26, just so you know, is as of 1949. Okay. When today's Republic, excuse me, of Ireland ended their membership in the British Commonwealth. Okay. So prior to that, 1949, there were 32, because some of you might have been thinking, oh, 32, right? But this was prior to 1949, okay? So when the split occurred in 1949, 6 of those counties became part of Northern Ireland, okay? So 32 minus 6 gives us the 26th in the Republic of Ireland itself now, today. Okay, so, all right. Now, all told, different versions of this county system have been in place for centuries now. All right, so different versions of it have been in place for centuries. Today, they play an important role in the running of the counties, including electing candidates to the Dale, the legislative branch, and in organizing government and planning at the local level, okay? So county government is aligned well, in other words, there, okay? So, all right, so we all set with the counties? Yes?
I based on number of population like it is here.
That I'm not sure about. Probably, if I had to guess, I would think, yeah, it's probably similar to, like with congressional districts here in the United States. Every congressional district in the United States, of course they can't get it perfect, but ideally every congressional district is supposed to have 500,000 residents in it, okay? Now again, they can never get it exact, all right, but give or take 500,000 people per congressional district in the U.S., all right? But again, it's not an exact science, though. So, Thomas, your hand up?
Yeah, just one quick thing.
Yeah.
Massachusetts abolished county government, I believe it was 2001.
Okay.
If my mind serves me right. I know we still elect some county seats, but there's no more.
They abolished it?
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
no more Essex County?
It is on paper,
Wow.
Yeah.
that's about the extent of it.
Yeah.
And you still got the sheriff's department, and you still got the
Right.
titles, but there's no more. I believe
Yeah.
it was around 2001.
Okay. Yeah, right. For example, some of you may remember, we used to have county commissioners, right, in Essex County. Those are long gone. But like Tom was saying, we still have, like Kevin Coppinger, the Essex County Sheriff, right? So, yeah. Okay. All right. Number 7. How many miles of coastline does Ireland have? Would anybody like to give their answer? What's that? C. Yes, C. Very good. Letter C. C. Yes. Okay. 4,675 miles. And again, after on the collage up here, some of the photos that Lori took when we were there, you'll see some of those photos of the coastline there. It's, of course, and again, those of you who've been there, it's gorgeous. All right? I mean, everywhere you go in Ireland, it's hard to get away from the coasts and the islands, right, of Ireland, okay? There's either an island or like the coastline no more than I think 70 miles away from you when you're in Ireland, okay, the Republic of Ireland. And so that magnificent coastline includes and again, some of you may know this, it's called the Wild Atlantic Way on the coast of Ireland, right? Okay, and it's one of the longest defined coastal routes in the world, actually. All right, so it winds its way all along the western coast of Ireland, okay, down to the picturesque town of Kinsale. Some of you maybe have been there, right? A very cute town. Lori and I loved it when we were there, right? Very picturesque, nice, classic Irish town, Kinsale, all right? Which is in County Cork in southern Ireland, okay? So it's called the Wild Atlantic Way. If you get a chance to go to Ireland, do it, okay? The Wild Atlantic Way. You won't be disappointed, all right? So, okay. All right, we all set with number 7? Okay. Number 8. Per the Constitution, what are the two official languages in both the Republic of Ireland and in Northern Ireland?
D.
D. Yes, D. Okay, D. Yes. All right. Somebody can correct me if I'm mispronouncing this. Gaelic or Gaelic, okay, or quote-unquote Irish, right? And then the other one is English, okay? So, now, according to the government, Gaelic, okay, or Irish is the primary one, okay, followed by English, all right? Now, around 40% of the population speaks Gaelic, although it can vary by county, okay? But overall, 40% or so, but it could vary depending what part of Ireland you're in, all right? The highest concentration of people speaking Gaelic would be in Galway, all right? Around 50% of the population in that area speak Gaelic, okay? The lowest percentage would be in the city of Dublin, where a little under 1/3 of the people there speak Gaelic, okay? But, you know, English is certainly encouraged, all right, in schools in order to, you know, to get ahead, right? It's like the same thing in places like India, okay, where English is given a lot of importance in school in order to give students, you know, a better chance to succeed, especially after graduating and then trying to make a go of it up there and, you know, what we call the real world, right, outside the classroom, okay? So, you know, so not to discount English, of course. Yeah.
In Dublin, especially in Dublin, they're getting a lot of foreign students,
Okay.
foreigners going in. But I don't think they're required
Okay.
to study Irish.
Okay. So, Anne, right? You've been on my tours, yeah. Okay. So, Anne was saying that in Dublin they're getting a lot of foreign students, but there's not a big push to teach them English, right?
Irish. They're in the school, I don't think they're required to speak Irish.
Okay. All right. So in school they're not required to take Irish or Gaelic. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Yes.
How about the islands where all the sweaters are made? Are they very high speaking in?
Probably. I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those were their private.
That's the primary. Yeah, on the islands. Yeah, okay, yeah, right, okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so we're done with that, all right. Number 9. Okay. A common feature of the topography of the Republic of Ireland covers 20% of the national land area. It is a remnant of former lakes that were left by the melting of the glaciers that covered the country 15,000 years ago. Now, what is this common feature called? Peat. Yes, I think most of you knew this one, right? So C, peat, right? Good old peat, right? One of the things closely associated with Ireland. Okay? And I know that, for example, when Lori and I were there in southwestern Ireland, in Kenmare, right? And we stayed at an old hunting lodge there in Kenmare. What was the name of it? Sheen Falls, right? Some of you maybe have heard of it, or you've been there yourselves. Sheen Falls Lodge in Kenmare, right? In the extreme southwest of Ireland. And so again, it was an old hunting lodge with a big fire fireplace in the lobby, okay? So, and we were there, I think, during spring break, right, in March. Yeah, for the first time. So it was kind of cool there. So you come downstairs from your room in the morning, they have the fireplace going there, right? And I think it's nice anyway, but there's that nice, there was always that nice smell of peat there. They had the fire going, right? And then we leave the lodge, do our touring, come back at the end of the day. Oh my God, they have the fireplace is still going, right? And it's burning peat. And it is a wonderful smell, you know. And even when we stepped out of the lodge, and there's the outdoors there, 10 day, and you can smell the peat like in the air, you know. It really permeates, and I think it's a wonderful smell. But yeah, so it's all over the place there, you know. So sometimes it's also called turf. All right, that's another name for it, turf. Traditionally, it's been a form of energy, okay? But now people are kind of moving away from it over there in Ireland as a source of energy. Why? Well, you may have guessed, it's harmful to the environment, right? Okay? Because when the peat bogs get damaged, and they do, when they're trying to extract the peat, okay, they can release huge amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, okay? So that's why they're getting kind of away from that now. All right. So, but you know, most people you hear peat, right, and right away, oh, okay, Ireland, right? They kind of go hand in hand, right? Peat and Ireland. Okay, just like soda bread, right? Okay, part of the refreshments over there, right? Soda bread, oh, Ireland, right? Okay, so some things just go together so nicely, you know what I mean? So, okay, number 10. What is the biggest export of Ireland itself? A, very good. A, yes, medicinal and pharmaceuticals. Okay, those are the biggest, those constitute the biggest export out of Ireland itself. Okay, and the most recent statistics show that $72 billion, $72 billion worth of medicinal and pharmaceutical exports came out of Ireland, all right? Again, according to the most recent statistics, all right, $72 billion. So that's a lot of income, right, coming into Ireland, all right? And just so you know, the other three choices that I have there for you, B, C, and D, those are also top exports that come out of Ireland, all right, which also bring in a lot of revenue, organic chemicals, medical apparatus, and perfumes and cosmetics, okay? So they're also way up there at the top, but medicinal and pharmaceuticals, okay, brings in the most export revenue, okay? Do we have any questions, comments? Yeah.
The one on the export, the medicinal and pharmaceuticals, right? Do they have their own raw materials there?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Ireland is blessed with a lot of raw materials. Okay, so they are able to extract a lot of what they need there already. Okay. Some countries just, you know, have a natural abundance of minerals. So I would say Ireland, and as we know in the news lately, Ukraine, right? Okay. The Western U.S., silver mines, right? Okay. Africa with its gold mines. mines, Russia with oil fields. So, in various places around the world, some areas are, have these naturally occurring minerals for extraction, and then either domestically and or for export, after which, obviously brings in a good amount of revenue to that country, right? So, yeah. Okay, Bill, yeah.
Just a point, going back to the languages.
Yes.
Just prior to the pandemic, three most popular languages in Ireland were English and Irish. The third one was Polish. And the reason for that was that a lot of Polish people that come over to work there during the Irish time. They stayed there, they worked for months, the pandemic came. Usually you don't hear that.
No. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, Poles are actually the largest ethnic minority group in Ireland. Okay, so, and like Bill was saying, you wouldn't think so normally, but indeed, yes. Okay. And yes, Sandy, yeah.
Richard, I know this is geography. But can you speak a little bit about the division between Arkansas and Ireland? How that
Okay, all right. Okay, so as we probably all know, there's a long history there, right, between Northern Ireland, right, the country of Northern Ireland, and what we call the Republic of Ireland today, right, the southern part, okay? And a lot of it, has had to do with differences in religion, for example. That's been a biggie, right? Differences over territory, cultural differences that have, split the two apart for a long time. And when Lori and I were there 10 years ago for our 25th wedding anniversary, we took a tour of Belfast. And we stayed there, and we took the tour there, right? And we learned that there is still segregation there. It's not over, all right, even though it's the 21st century, okay? And we drove by areas that had these high wooden walls, okay? It almost looked like a prison, all right? And the tour guide was explaining to us that from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., right? Or 7, the other way around, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., right? Those serve like as barriers, right? Nobody can go in and out in between, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah. So it's still very prominent there, right?
So they're like ghettos? Those areas are like ghettos?
I would say not too shabby, right? I think we saw some, we'll call them modern ghettos there, right? If I can use that term. Not a ghetto like you might be thinking of, like in Brazil with the barrios, but still a high degree of separation, yeah, because of all like blue collar. So they work hard, but a strong blue collar, right? But like I would say a step above like the barrios in Latin America, though.
The walls are higher than in Israel.
Yeah. Okay, so the walls there at Belfast are higher than what you would see like in places like Israel. Yeah, all right. So it's still very prominent there, the separation. And the thing is, neither side, of course, wants to give in. The Catholics feel very strongly about their beliefs and domain, and the Protestants feel equally as strong about their domain and their beliefs. But again, these are long-standing cultural, religious, ethnic differences, some over territory that just have never, been completely resolved. And we even, walking around there in Belfast, we even walked by a bombed-out car that was on a sidewalk, all right? And we're like, oh my God. And this was 2015, right, 10 years ago. and there was a burned out car there on the sidewalk, you know, and it's like they left it there on purpose. You know, we could tell it had been sitting there for a while, and it's like they left it there on purpose just because, you know, they still don't want to move on from past, you know, and current differences that they have there between the two groups, you know. And it's like, wow, it was really an eye-opener, you know, but yeah.
Well, those of you who have dialed outside of the country know there are country codes. And the answer to all this in one short sentence is the country code for Northern Ireland is the same as England. That's the answer to all this discussion.
Yeah.
The Republic of Ireland has one country code. The country code for Northern Ireland is 353 like you.
Okay. If you weren't able to hear, Lori was pointing out, if you're dialing, the country code for England is the same as it is for Northern Ireland. And I mean, right, that's quite a statement there. So it's showing you how, again, things die hard, right, between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, right? That there's still those differences there that, again, have not been able to have been separated, right? You know, it's still, they're still holding strong there with things even like that, like the Diamond Code, you know?
Northern and South, are they both the same size or is one larger than the other?
No, the Republic of Europe, yeah, maybe someday, but the Republic of Ireland is larger, so the South is larger than the North, than Northern Ireland. All right, so, and by the way, the population of Ireland, I didn't get into this, but the population, some of you may know this, but the population of Ireland itself has never recovered, right, from the potato famine, okay? Even to this day, the population was never able to recover, all right? So that goes to show you how devastating, you know, it was. And during the summer, those of you who take my tours here, we talk about the Irish potato famine during the programming that I do here during the summertime. And again, you know, another reason to come back this summer if you want to learn more about that, right? The Irish potato famine. But as you probably know, that's what brought the Irish to Lawrence, right? Okay. Coincidentally, when the Irish potato famine was happening in the mid to late 1840s, that's when the Essex Company happened to be developing what became the city of Lawrence, right? Okay. So a lot of the Irish, when they came to America, they made their way up to what was to become, because it didn't really have a name yet, to become the city of Lawrence, okay? And, you know, I'll certainly give credit to the Irish, right? They really helped build the city of Lawrence, okay? Now, in conjunction with, you know, the native population, the old Yankee stock that was here, all right? Prior to development, there were only about 100 people living in what was to become Lawrence, if you can believe it. Now we have like 88,000 people here, okay? There were only 100 prior to development and prior to the influx of the Irish, okay? So the Irish played a big role in literally, you know, building the city of Lawrence, okay? All the mills that you see over there on Canal Street, hand digging the canal, building the Great Stone Dam on Broadway, right? The Irish certainly played a large role in all that, you know? So they were the first immigrant ethnic group to come to Lawrence. But when we get to the turn of the century, right, and the mills were in their heyday here, we had about 50 different languages, right, being spoken in the mills here, okay, which was a testament to how much of a melting pot the city of Lawrence had become by that point, okay? So, and again, those of you who've taken my tours, you probably know some of this already, but they didn't know what to call Lawrence at first, right? Because it was a new city, Okay, what do we call it? Once it was incorporated in 1847 as a town, all right? So for lack of a better word, some people just started calling it New City, right? Not too creative, but oh, New City. Okay, all right. Others were calling it Merrimack without the K on the end, right? Because of the river. Okay. Others were calling it Essex because of being located in Essex County. Okay. And then still others were calling it Andover Bridge. Okay. Because as you may know, the first bridge here in Lawrence was called Andover Bridge over the Merrimack River, and it burned down in the 1790s in a fire, okay? But because of the prominence of that bridge, when it did exist, okay, all right, let's call this Andover Bridge, okay? So it got very confusing, okay, and the first Lawrence post office that was on South Broadway, they're like, well, come on, you know, like for the postmark, we need a name, right? Okay, so the original Lawrence post office on South Broadway started, for purposes of postmarking the mail, called it Merrimack, right, without a K, all right? Then finally, at the first town meeting they had here, January of 47, I believe, 1846, I think 47. So the townspeople who attended the first town meeting, so it came up for a vote, right? What do we call this new city? And in honor of Abbott Lawrence, whose family gave about $1 million to help build the city, right? Okay, so the townspeople decided, well, let's name it Lawrence in honor and in appreciation of Abbott Lawrence and his family. Okay, so that's when it became Lawrence. Okay, now question for you, and then we'll wrap it up. Did the Lawrence family live in Lawrence? No. No. Right? You had a 50-50 shot at this, right? Okay. So right at the Academy, right in Andover. So they lived in Groton. Okay. The big Lawrence homestead was in Groton, right, west of Lowell. Okay. So they never lived here in Lawrence. Actually, they stayed at their homestead out in Groton. Okay, but the other two founders of Lawrence, right? We had Abbott Lawrence, Daniel Saunders, and Charles Storrow, right? So Charles Storrow and Daniel Saunders did live in Lawrence, okay? Saunders, as you may know, at the corner of South Broadway and Andover Street, right? His house was on the Underground Railroad. There's a credit union located there right now, right? Okay. And then that was torn down in the 1940s and 50s. And then Charles Storrow had a mansion up on Prospect Hill, okay, where Storrow Park is now located right on the hill up behind Lawrence General, okay? There's the blue and white water tower there, the Geisler swimming pool. So Charles Storrow had a mansion up there, which unfortunately I don't know when, but it was eventually torn down, you know? So Saunders and Storrow lived here, just the Lawrence family decided to stay put in Groton, you know? So anyway, just wanted to give you a little history there as far as that goes. So, all right, so any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Question about the wooden wall in Belfast. That didn't divide the two countries, it just divided the nation.
Right.
Was it like the Berlin Wall cut in half?
Yes, okay, yeah,
Or was it just encircling one neighborhood?
Okay, so that wooden wall that I was telling you about in Belfast, it kind of meanders a little, and I would say it doesn't separate like countries, right, but neighborhoods, right, what I can remember, right, Lord?
It divides a very Catholic, in a rough neighborhood, it divides a very Catholic street from a very Protestant street.
Yeah,
They won't each move 5 from their neighborhoods. And near it, in this neighborhood is also a jail, the Cumberland Jail, which is on Cumberland Road.
Yes.
And there's a housing project also near there.
Okay, all right, thank you. Right, so the wall, again, separates neighborhoods like Catholic versus Protestant neighborhoods, Catholic streets versus Protestant streets, right? And then Lori mentioned the Crumlin Jail. Maybe, yeah, you know, which the photo was in the center of the collage there, okay? But you can visit the Crumlin Jail. We walked over there one day from where we were staying. And so it was kind of funny because we're walking there. We like to walk, we go on trips, you know. And so we're making our way to the Crumlin Jail to take a tour, right? So just to make sure, so we're walking through different neighborhoods to get there. And just to make sure we weren't going off track, that we were heading in the right direction. So we would stop people who we knew, you know, were residents there occasionally. And you know, we would say, oh, excuse me, are we heading in the right direction to get to the Crumlin Jail? Right, okay. And you know, people like, well, why are you walking to the jail? I mean, is there something about you we don't know about, right? Right? And we're like, no, we didn't do anything wrong. We're tourists, right? You know? And that's the only reason we're trying to find the jail, so we could take a tour. Not that we're reporting there for incarceration or anything, right? Right, you know? And then we met up, one of the people we met up with was a group of Irish young boys, and like, okay, excuse me, are we heading in the right direction to get to jail? And then Lori can do the imitation better than I can, but you want to say what they said?
Sweet was, where you from? Where you from?
Yeah, but their cute Irish accents, where are you from? Where are you from? Right? As if they couldn't tell from our accent, right? The American accent, right? Okay. So we're like, oh yeah, well, you know, we're visiting from the U.S. It's our 25th wedding anniversary. And we're just, and by the way, are we heading in the right direction to get to the jail? You know? Okay. Right? But, so, yeah, so we got there, kind of exhausted, but we made it there to the jail, right, you know, and then, so we're taking the tour, right, and Lori got a little squeamish at one point. You don't mind if I tell the story? Okay, so they brought us into the execution room, okay, yes, okay, so they used to hang people there inside the prison, okay, so the tour guide is like, oh, so he's taking us from, you know, room to room there, right, okay, so, oh, here's the execution room, okay, so Lori's like, oh my God, right, you know, so there's a trap door, right, so they have the noose hanging, right, so there's a beam, right, like over here, okay, and they have the noose there, all right, so there's the noose hanging from one of the beams, all right, and then under the noose is the trap door, okay, so, you know, the hanging, right, and then you go down through the trap door, okay, then he took us down below, where you end up when you go through the trap door after you hung, okay? And what was waiting for you there at the bottom of the trap door when you get down below? A casket. Okay, so they thought of everything, right? They hang you, down you go through the trap door, right? You land in the casket. Then they carry you out, right? And they have an in-house cemetery there, okay? So then you get buried. You can never leave the place, right? Then you get buried on the grounds of the jail there, right? Okay, so once a prisoner, always a prisoner, right? Okay. So we're glad we did the walk. You know, it was very interesting. We learned a lot about what it was like to be an Irish prisoner there in the Kilmainham jail, right? You know, so again, I recommend it really if you're looking to be educated, you know. It was quite interesting. So, all right. Yes, now I got everybody thinking.
Did they split the jail up into the Catholic section, the Protestant section also?
Oh, God, good question. Lori, do you remember the jail? Was it in the Catholic neighborhood or the Protestant neighborhood? I don't remember.
They come together like a form. One of those, I believe, is called Shakespeare. come together. The bottom of that first, there's a housing project, a maternity hospital, then the jail, so it's kind of like a combination, like everything.
So they didn't have a Catholic section in the jail?
No, the only thing, right, the only thing.
Most of the Catholics, yeah, probably.
Non-denominational.
What's that?
Non-denominational.
Yeah, non-denominational prison, right, there we go. Right, it knows no boundaries there, no.
So, you know, but, yeah, no, really, it's a wonderful place to visit, really. That's why we had to take a second look. We went back the second time. But then just, you know, for balance, we're like, all right, well, let's check out Northern Ireland too while we're at it, right? You know, and if you ever go to Northern Ireland, in Belfast, the Titanic Museum there, I love where I work here at Lawrence Heritage, okay? But I gotta tell you, one of the best museums I've ever visited is the Titanic Museum in Belfast, okay? If you go to Belfast, go to that museum, you'll love it, really, you know? One of the most modern, comprehensive, high-tech museums that I've ever seen. So, yeah.
Now, we went to Belfast.
You were in Belfast?
We went to Belfast.
Yes.
Well, we were in Northern Ireland, we did around the whole move around.
Yeah.
Caribbean, Bridge, Road Bridge.
Okay, yes, I think we went by that. Yeah. Okay.
My son got crushed, and I turned around and I said, "You'll laugh, so watch out."
Yeah,
In Belfast,
but the danger of being last.
we went, no, Belfast. We went to the Crown Winter School. Have you heard about that one?
No, I haven't, no.
Oh, really sweet. They had snubs.
Sucks.
So you sit there and look at these doors and close. So visual art. But across the street evidently is the American Hotel.
Okay.
And it's the most warm hotel in the city.
Oh, really?
But we saw an armored vehicle driving around Belfast. This was 2001, and they had the skirts on the bottom. A little scary.
It is.
Yeah.
Like when we walked by that burnt out car, it can
Yeah.
be a little scary walking around Belfast.
Yeah.
But it's educational, right? You see,
As a historian, right, I'm always saying, oh, but it's educational, right? And, you know, right? Because that's my job, right? Okay, everything is educational to me, right? You can always learn something from anything, right? You know.
Did you get to Londonderry?
No.
Derry?
No, we did not get up to Derry or Londonderry, no. Did we miss anything?
No, they have an area, yeah, it's very sad because they still have, depending which way you call it, Ian probably knows. They still have cameras down on the Protestant side. There's one road that, I think the middle of the road is the Asian line, what they call it. And one side is Protestant, the other is Catholic. But then they put up different flags, whether you're Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland. And it's like, just to know those cameras, when they had children, there was a little girl killed walking to school at the end of the mill buildings, which looks very similar to like this, like a huge girl on it, a hand drawn, and just sad.
It is.
Just sad, that it still existed.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get out of the city. I said, let's go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. It can be a little jarring, you know. Yeah. But again, right, we can learn from this stuff, right? Again, that's how I look at it, you know. Right?
Everything you see, right, that when you're visiting somewhere especially and you're seeing different things, it's a learning experience, you know. Emotions aside, you know, it's a learning experience. So, okay, anything else right now? Questions, comments, stories that you want to share with us?
Well, the border between the Republic and the North is open. There's no customs control. So there flights direct from Boston to Belfast, but it's just a 2-hour drive from Dublin.
Okay. Yeah, so when we went to Northern Ireland, so we flew into Dublin, and then from there, and then we took the ride up to 2 hours up to Northern Ireland. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So,
Yes, how many miles is the country?
okay, all right. So from top to bottom, north to south, I believe it's 301 miles, the Republic of Ireland. Okay, it's not that much, really. And east to west, I believe it's like 170 miles or so. Again, so not that large, you know. Yeah. So.
How are the tours? What's that? Tours. The tours. We were there, like, and we took okay, yeah, wonderful, yeah.
The tours, yeah, I mean, there's so much to see and do there. And if, you know, you have just a specific amount of time, you got to pick which ones you want. But we had no complaints though about any of the tours. And you know, the Irish, I love them dearly. They're very nice people, right? Okay, and we had wonderful interactions with them. They're wonderful to interact with, very helpful. You know, they want to please you, very knowledgeable, right? We thoroughly enjoy our visits there. You know, so. And they just want to make sure you're happy and serve you and serve your needs. You know, you're a tourist. So.
how many days are a good visit? How many days to Ireland?
I could live there a whole year if I had, you know, my way. Right? But 2 weeks to do it justice, I would say, probably. You know, yeah. So.
They know the Boston area, the extreme southwest where we were. They can name the streets. We were in a shop, and the lady said, I have a cousin that works in this bar in Dorchester on Gal. I said, Galvin Boulevard? She said, yeah, Galvin Boulevard. They were Boston, like, you know, Boston.
Yes, right. They know all about Boston over there, right?
They're relatives.
Yes, they do. They have that connection, right, across the Atlantic there.
And in the extreme southwest, in Kenmare, is the same. The next village over is Boston, which is true.
It's true, right? Because, like, when we were in Kenmare, in southwestern Ireland, that's the westernmost point of the Eurasian landmass, okay? So that's as close as you're going to get to Boston without actually crossing the Atlantic Ocean, right? You know, so, but yeah, so when they would ask us where we're from, Laura and I would say, oh, we're from north of Boston, because we knew they would know Boston, not Lawrence or Andover, you know. So, oh, we're from north of Boston. Oh, yeah, Boston, Dorchester. Oh, yeah, I have relatives there. You know? Oh, yeah, of course you do. I would expect you to. If you didn't, that would be strange, you know, right? You know, so, yeah. So, yes.
How's their economy now?
Okay, how's their economy now? They've had their ups and downs, just like pretty much everywhere else. So during the pandemic, of course, they took a hit, but they are rebounding now, like a lot of other places. So overall, they're doing okay. Just, you know, some blips in the road, but you know, they're still recovering from the pandemic, like a lot of other places. But they're doing, you know, okay right now, as far as I can tell. You know, nothing bad, nothing majorly bad going on with the economy, you know. So, and of course, heavily dependent on tourism, you know. And I think we've all seen the Aer Lingus commercials this winter playing on TV, right? Okay, so I mean, you know, they know what to do there, right? You know, to keep it going. So, you know, but yeah, definitely heavily dependent on tourism. That feeds a lot of the Irish economy, of course, you know.
actually on both ends throughout the whole year, just a couple of months. Thanks again, have a great day. Thank you. It's always great, I understand if you weren't here last Sunday, or even if you were, tune in, it's already broadcast